Hey everybody, welcome back to That Stupid Podcast. Rev here. We're calling this episode Egon, but not forgotten. We reminisce about Harold Ramis, we talk about Microsoft, and we talked about Microsoft. Shit, we should have called this episode Microsoft. Stick around. Stupid Podcast, Rev here.
ThatStupidPodcast.com. This is RJ.
That's my bromate right there.
What's going on? We're gonna do this one live.
We're actually officially bromates in iOS now.
Boom!
I told Siri, it's like, hey, remember that Ashton,
we both remembered that each other was bromates. You were actually my first friend on the Find the Friends app.
Yep. So now you can say, where's my bromate?
And it'll tell me.
Yeah. So.
But since we're starting the show off this week the same way we started off every week,
It's time to snope something for that
Let's snope something. Let's do the internet detection.
So I'm going to switch it up this week a little bit, and I'm going to tell you something that, well, is actually true, believe it or not.
The internet posted some stuff, and it wasn't lies.
I know, it's amazing. So what happened this week, actually even at the end of last week, the internet got flooded with these notes about, oh my God, you Hot Pocket people, you're all going to die.
Well, yeah, but they're going to die eventually anyways. Hot Pockets are fucking terrible for you.
They are terrible for you. But apparently, there's a rumor going around the internet that there's a huge recall for Hot Pockets because they were contaminated. Now, contaminated in this sense doesn't necessarily mean that the meat was like bad and is going to kill you. It means they were contaminated because there was meat that didn't pass certain FDA regulations. That's all it actually means. Well, the particular regulation is the meat came from dead animals. Now, you might think, well, it doesn't all...
Whoa!
You might think to yourself, well, meat comes from dead animals, right? Because they butcher cows.
Yeah, but like dead animals.
Yeah, this wasn't something that was butchered. This was a dead cow that then went to the butcher house. Yeah. Whoa! Well, guess what, internet? That's not fake. That actually happened. It was a butcher warehouse or whatever the hell they're called out in California. It had a huge recall notice. A lot of that meat went into the Philly cheesesteak variety Hot Pocket, which, by the way,
I eat.
Oh, I'm sorry. So it was actually funny. You were at my house when this all started. We were prepping for the dinner party, I think, maybe. I don't even remember now. And I got a phone call, and I was like, I don't know that number. So I put the phone down.
I don't want lunch.
It's like, I got a voicemail, because I heard the Old Spice whistle, and that's my voicemail note, and I listened to it. And it was an automated robocall from Kroger. And it said, you may have purchased da-da-da-da-da. And there's a recall notice for Philly. And I don't. So I was like...
And immediately I made a joke about this. And I looked at him and I was like, Steven, how many Hot Pockets do you buy to get a voicemail from Kroger telling you that there might be a Hot Pocket epidemic?
Right. And first of all, I don't eat Hot Pockets. The reason I got the robocall is because I am on their robocall list. Like I did... You can... And by the way, you should sign up for the robocall list for grocers because that
stuff happens.
Yeah, it does happen. Well, then I made a joke. That's probably just some dead cow in the Hot Pocket mix. Well, like within the hour, Facebook was exploding
about
CNN,
dead cows in the Hot Pocket mix. And really, when I think about Hot Pockets, I think that there's maybe just a vat and they're pushing live animals into a vat that's just chopping them up. And I see one guy who's just like,
right?
Yeah, and there's just like one guy who goes, I don't think this one's alive. He goes, oh, fuck it, no one will notice.
It's all good. So, and I wanted to change it up because every week I'm always harping about shit that's not real on the internet. This was an opportunity. So it all goes back to fact checking. When you see something on the internet, don't dismiss it automatically, but don't take it as truth either. Go find out. And in this case, it was totally real.
Gross. And I
know it's.
I don't want lunch anymore.
I mean, I used to eat Hot Pockets. I mean, before I had my weight loss surgery, I did eat Hot Pockets.
I ate Hot Pockets.
I never ate
the
Philly.
When I was like 14.
Ate the Philly. Yeah. I never ate the Philly cheesesteak ones because they were nasty anyway.
They were gross,
just horrible.
Back in the day,
The ham and cheese. I like the ham and cheese.
Broccoli and cheese, baby, or the broccoli, ham, and cheese. The trifecta.
The trifecta.
Oh, don't tell me you ate the pepperoni ones.
I actually like the pepperoni one occasionally. I didn't in the mood for them, but I ate those every once in a while. So, but I ate one right before I had surgery because I was doing. I had what I called my last.
That's what I was gonna say. What were you like? I'll never be able to eat again. I'll never let go.
So
Hot Pocket.
I went out and I picked out on like the best Mexican I could find in Nashville, which is a place I go to, Monterey. By the way, if you're in Nashville, Corner Bell Road, Murfreesboro Pike, go to Monterey. It's great fucking Mexican food. And I went there and I had like the fucking $20 dinner, and
you just came in, dropped $100 down, and was like, "Bring me tacos until I die."
And one of the last meals, I went ahead and I bought some Hot Pockets, and they were so bad. Like I got sick. This is pre-surgery, not post-surgery. I literally felt like I was gonna die. So
I went on the internet to scour this week, and
looking for something to snow.
I didn't really have anything, and I wanted something to be true because I knew that yours was going to be true, and it was going to be a thing. And do you guys realize how hard it is to find something that's actually real, true on the internet?
It's impossible.
And I didn't think I was going to have anything for this segment this week, but I did. One of the biggest problems that I have with Facebook is that people are constantly posting pictures of celebrities that have quotations up.
Oh, yes.
Like what they said,
celebrity spokesperson meme.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's one picture, for example, that is a picture of Jimmy Carter, and it says, "If you don't want your tax dollars to help the poor, then stop saying you want a country based on Christian values, because you don't." Now, knowing Jimmy Carter, that's some shit that he would say.
He totally said that, right?
Absolutely. No.
Oh.
Now, as of looking at it, and I'm scrolling down the page, that's the tapping sound that you hear because I was lazy. Stevie Carter? Apparently, Jimmy Carter is now blind and plays the piano.
Right.
Jimmy Carter didn't say that at all. It was actually a comedian who was doing a segment on Current TV's Viewpoint program.
And that, by the way, that's why people got away with it, because who the fuck actually watches Current?
I've never heard of that at all. It happened May 29th of 2013. It was a comedian named Jimmy Fugelsang that said that. And he went on a whole diatribe about it.
Talking about named Carter?
No, not even. No. He has no Jimmy or Carter
truth
in there. It's a John. How does John become Jim? Never mind. I'm not setting myself up for that dick joke.
Too late.
But he went on a whole diatribe about Congressman Steve Fincher, who is a Republican from, guess where? Tennessee. And he took the Bible out of context and about applying for visas and about immigration.
Well, people take the Bible out of context all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And he said that. That was a quote from him, and people were like, you know who people really liked?
Jimmy Carter.
Yep. He's a good old peanut farmer.
You know what Abraham Lincoln said?
What?
He said you should never believe everything you read on Facebook.
Yeah, and this is why you should follow in the immortal words of Abe Lincoln and never believe everything you read on Facebook. So this week, we had a lot of stuff go down in the technology world, yeah?
Well, yeah, and especially because it's been a little bit more than a week since we recorded last, and I apologize for that. We both had a whole bunch of shit going down.
I'm not saying a word. I quote me on this show. I said I will never apologize again, and I will not.
So, but there's been a lot of technology news, a lot of tech bites.
Which means it's time for Technology Bites. Tech Bites, for short. That's our music.
Right. So I like it. All right, we're going to run down the list, man. So if you haven't yet already updated to iOS 7.0.6, you better
do it
get
on
the
your
fuck out
phone
there.
And your computer and your everything that you own that is a Mac product.
If you have an iPhone or an iPad and it can do iOS 7, and
huge loophole.
Here's the thing: if you're one of those people on an older iPhone that's still on iOS 6, even though your phone can do iOS 7, and you'd be like, I ain't going to iOS 7, fuck that. You actually need to go to 7.06 right now too, because this particular bug goes all the way back to iOS 5.5.
Yeah.
No shit.
So I mean that, and if you think about how long ago those were released,
few
that's
years.
Like forever.
Yeah.
And I'm shocked that even though the modding community knew about it, Apple was like, "No, it's whatever."
Yeah.
So
well, here's the thing. So I'm going to talk about what the problem was and give you a little background on what this means for you. And this, by the way, I had shut my MacBook. I use a MacBook for our show. I had actually just taken it off the internet for the last week until I got around to update. I was waiting on Apple to release OS X 10.9.29 or whatever it is, and I've done that update too. So if you have OS X, you're going to do that.
He's just saying numbers.
It's an SSL glitch, and that's all you've probably heard. But let's talk about what that means.
What does that mean for you?
Yeah. So there's an attack known to hackers, and I used to teach this when I taught.
Did you teach White Hat?
Yeah, I used to teach White Hat. So I have a certification through EC Council, who ironically got hacked this week.
Oh, good.
EC Council's website got hacked. They do the Certified Ethical Hacker. And I was like, well, my certification just went in the toilet.
CEH?
They put, yeah. So anyway, there's an attack known as man in the middle. And basically, all a man in the middle is, instead of you coming to me for your content, you come to what you think is me, but it's actually RJ.
Yep.
Right?
And I take all the stuff that goes in completely unprotected.
He might even communicate with me and give you real information. He might give you altered information.
Or I could just give you a 404 page after you put all your stuff
Or he
in.
might just say that the service is down and then take your information, log into the site, talk to me about it, get all of your particulars, and ruin your life.
To give you an example of how this can work, now that I'm no longer at Pellissippi as a student, I can talk about this.
Yep.
Pellissippi has access points, wireless access points, all over across the school. And the year that I graduated, they finally changed them from HTTP to HTTPS. Now, the reason they changed them to HTTPS is because we figured out that everything was going broadcast across those completely unencrypted. So,
Nothing like students logging in with their accounts in plain text.
let's say that I boot into Linux and I take my Wi-Fi card,
Put it
and
in
I spoof
promiscuous mode.
I spoof it, and it looks like an AP. You connect to my AP thinking it's there. You send your stuff across, and I will take all that information, and then I send you to a redirect to an actual AP, and you just assume, oh, maybe I got my password wrong. Nope, you got it right, and now I have it right too.
Yep. So
that is a perfect man in the middle.
And the problem with that is that was on your iPhone, it was on your iPad, that was in your Mac.
Good. So if you
iOS
connected
10.
to any weird wireless signals at all,
Well, here's the thing. You didn't even have to connect a weird wireless signal for this glitch to be affected. If someone had erroneously put any injection anywhere, like if you are ever on Facebook and you get one of these weird tag
Bad
posts,
links,
right?
yeah.
Those bad links, well,
you can inject into mobile
So-
phones, mobile devices.
so that was really big. If you haven't, and by the way, I've been looking at the numbers. I've actually been tracking, and over 35% now of all the iOS 7 installs are 706. So good job, keep it up,
Nailed it.
Get your shit upgraded.
First try.
Next thing that's going on, Microsoft Office Online has officially launched as Microsoft Office Online.
Mm-hmm.
Don't call it a web app. They don't want you to call it that anymore. So we use Office 365. Yeah, we use Office 365,
And it works.
and it's
Great.
great. I've had it for several years, and that's what we put our show notes in.
I was incredibly. Let me go ahead and say this. I was
Yeah.
incredibly opposed to the idea of O365 because
Yeah.
I worked with Toyota through SAIC
Mm-hmm.
when they were doing their entire migration going from 2007
Okay.
all the way direct up to O365 when O365 had just launched.
Right.
And whoa, it was nightmarish.
Yeah.
But especially just for their web interface, for their web
Oh, it's
application,
awesome.
It's
Great.
amazing.
Now, you guys have probably, if you have a SkyDrive, which is now OneDrive, that's another thing that happened this past week. It
put it all
officially
together.
relaunched, and those two things kind of happened together. You get these apps. Well, they also launched new ones. So you had Outlook, which is Outlook.com, has been around for a while. That's what replaced Hotmail. We had Microsoft Office, Word, and Excel.
Yep.
We now have PowerPoint.
That's what I was going to say.
Which is
PowerPoint, and
huge.
they're talking about, as far as I know, Access, correct?
there is some limited web access stuff. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah. It's a
But
little too powerful.
Microsoft
even, yeah.
Online is really rebranded, so that happened and relaunched with some new applications. Other things that happened this week. Speaking of Microsoft, Nokia dropped the Nokia X.
They did.
Now,
and
why is that a big deal?
Oh,
Well,
tell them, Steve Dave.
it's an Android device. It looks like a goddamn Windows phone, though.
It does.
If you've seen the interface, it really, and when I shared it earlier on Facebook at the end of last week, I was like, this looks a little Windowsy. It's already been hacked to run Google Play and hit the Access Store and everything else. So, but it's actually a decent looking little device.
From what I've heard, it's awesome. And I trust Nokia.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been making phones for 1,000 years. What they're going to have to watch out for is that new crazy phone that's coming out that's completely waterproof and drop proof, and it's looking awesome.
And that's my little note to Apple, just off to break into a tangent.
Waterproof.
I need a waterproof iPhone, damn it.
You know why
Just
it's not
saying.
going to happen, though.
It will, by the way. It will happen.
It will if enough people
It
adapt
will
to
happen because the iPhone 6 is going Sapphire, and the next step is to
Sapphire?
make that
Question
so,
mark?
Sapphire is the glass that we use for the lens of your camera now.
And it's also the covering for the touch sensor.
It's also the covering for the touch sensor. This is
Okay.
all Gorilla Glass.
Yeah.
Gorilla Glass scratches like a motherfucker.
Yeah, it does.
Sapphire does not.
Oh.
Sapphire's also not as brittle. Like
But
when you drop your
isn't
phone
it-
like this, it can shatter. Sapphire doesn't
But don't
shatter.
they actually have to mix actual gems into said glass?
No.
Isn't that going to be expensive?
Well, so first of all, it's only going to be a thin layer. You only need a thin layer of sapphire to cover it. So think of it like a built-in screen protector.
Okay.
Cuts the production cost down quite a bit. But that thin layer, so think about the windshield
So
of
it's
your
still
car.
costing the same, but it's...
A little bit more. But think about the windshield of your car, laminated glass. It's that kind of concept.
Well, I guarantee the people out there are probably going to ask the same question I'm going to, which is, how is that going to affect me cost-wise?
So the idea and the reason they haven't done it yet is because Apple doesn't want it to affect the price of the iPhone.
Absolutely.
So that's their goal. That's the reason why it hasn't happened yet. But there is a new glass plant I think it's Arizona.
Okay.
That's doing these as Sapphire, and that it's all still rumor, but it's been from some fairly legitimate rumor mills.
A lot of the rumor mills that have been
these out.
legit, as far as I'm concerned, they were talking about the scanners way before it was even.
And it's the same people talking about Sapphire.
What do I got next?
So next up, I know it's crazy. Did you know I know it feels like Microsoft. We usually talk about Nintendo, but this has been all Microsoft and Technology Bytes. Windows 8.1, there's a very legitimate potential rumor right now that it will be dropped for free. Now, you might think, well, of course it's free. It's just an update to Windows 8. But
that's what I thought.
That's not what we're talking about. You might remember when OS X
went free.
10.9 dropped.
It was just free. They were like, hey, go get it off iTunes.
No more cat names. We changed it to Mavericks. But we also made it free.
They did. Because they can.
Microsoft's about potentially going to do the same thing.
And I will say this, even though I'm completely against Windows 8, I will go download a copy of the installer and keep it just in case I want a dual boot.
Well, first of all, 8.1 is bringing back your start menu.
I know. It's supposed to it's Windows 7, Windows 8.
And because I'm a Windows 8 fan. Now I paid $10 to StarDock to get the Windows start menu back. So I did pay that $10.
I'd rather put a gun in my mouth.
It's faster. It's more stable. It is better.
It's more stable considering I've seen your Facebook when your Windows 8 machine and it's got blue screened like 1,000 times.
Yeah, well,
my Windows 7 is never blue screened.
Yeah, well, there's something else going on in my box. Actually, I don't know what it is yet. I think my USB 3 board is dying. Actually,
all right. Well, either way, if it's free, people love free stuff. But it might be free, and they can force people to move away from 7 into that.
And they want you doing that, obviously.
They do.
Moving on. So I've got one more story. Don't I? Yes. And it's not on here, but I posted this on Facebook, and this is something. Now, first, I want to do some information disclosure. You guys all know I work for AT&T as my day job.
Absolutely.
I don't work for Mobility, but my next story is about AT&T. So I wanted to make sure you understood that. You take what I say with a grain of salt. AT&T quietly launched a new mobile share value plan.
And it's basically killing everybody.
It's actually kind of fantastic.
Yeah.
So everyone that I've told about it has saved money by getting more data, basically. So new mobile share value plan. The new plans start at the 10 gig mark. They still have the smaller plans, but it's so funny. It's almost twice as much to get an 8 gig plan as a 10 gig plan.
So you might as well just go.
Here's why, and this is the part that I wanted to add and kind of talk about. So. You've seen the commercials by now because they finally started really pushing this plan. You see the girl talking to family people. Yep. It's like, and just 4 phones is $160 and da-da-da-da-da. And that, or 5 phones, right? And that's true, by the way. So I'm going to talk to you about what I pay for AT&T service and these prices don't include my discount. So this is my pre-discount prices. My phone bill is $185 a month pre-tax, pre-discount. That's for 5 phones, 1 iPad with LTE. 10 gigs of data, unlimited talk, unlimited text.
Okay.
That's 5 phones and then iPad.
But how much is it?
For $185 a month.
That's actually really cheap. Considering at one point, just for mine by myself, I was paying like $100 a month on AT&T.
Because the base plan, the 10 gig plan is $100 a month. And then you pay $15 a month per phone for your plan. And this is where you need to start doing your math, and this is where you need to start being careful, and this is kind of my public service announcement to you. Any phone that's on a 2-year contract prior to February 2014 is going to be $15 a month.
Okay. What about after?
If you renew your contract and do a 2-year contract post 2014 February, it's $40 a month.
Ouch.
Here's why. They want you to go to Next. To keep that $15 a month plan, you go to AT&T Next.
Okay.
Now, for someone like me, I have such a deep discount. Next is not actually good for me.
It would hurt you in the long run.
I'll talk to you offline because I can't really discuss what I pay, but
we got to keep it under wraps.
Here's where you do the math. Now, for people like my parents, this is perfect because let's say my mom wants an iPhone. If she pays $15 a month versus $40, there's a $25 buffer. Because, a lot of people bitch about AT&T Next. They're like, and the Verizon's program and everybody else's. They're all very similar. Like, it makes you pay $1 million for the phone. If you look at this value plan as not that, but a sunken cost model, it actually works out pretty well for a lot of people. Still not everyone, which is why you need to do your math. If it's going to cost you $40 a month for your phone, but $15 a month if you go on Next, and your Next fee is only $22 a month.
Absolutely.
You're actually $3 less a month for that phone
Yeah.
now.
So it's all about really saving money,
math.
and we just want to kind of get it out there. AT&T starting their new media campaign on it, but they did really kind of do a silent rollout.
Very
on that.
silent rollout, and it's a good deal. So I just wanted to bring that up.
There's one story that I want to get to because it hits home for me.
Yes.
In Technology Bytes. Netflix agreed to pay Comcast
So
for
I
their
was
own
gonna
traffic.
wait. I was gonna wait and talk about that in the movies section.
I
but
want to talk about it now.
we want to talk about it now.
But I want to talk quickly about it and what it means for people.
Can't talk quickly about it
I will talk quickly about it
because I have a lot to say about it.
I get it. Well, maybe we'll leave that one off because we'll also want to talk about the Time Warner thing. Maybe that'll be the next
and
time around.
They're kind of together, and
I just want to talk about how it affected me and see if any of the
Okay.
viewers out there
Go ahead.
also were affected. So the day that deal went down, Netflix basically agreed to pay Comcast money
Right.
for the excess traffic that they were going to be using because Netflix is, at some points in time, 65% of the traffic going across America. I mean, that's just how it is.
House of Cards, y'all.
What's up? But the biggest thing about it for me is that I was getting really shitty. I was getting 280
which you've
for-
seen us talk about. We
and
talked
it's
about that
been
last podcast.
Bad. And I've tracked this. I've written 2 articles on it for AFK Magazine. And I got home that day. And I did not think it would affect so quickly. When I got home and I turned on Netflix, the lowest I was playing in was 720. During the same peak hours that I was doing before, which tells me Comcast is screwing me.
Yeah,
And they were screwing everybody. They could have pushed the traffic through. They just didn't want to. They wanted extra money because they didn't want to eat the cost of that.
Yep.
Now, what does that mean for us in the long run? It probably means Netflix is going to go up a couple bucks. Is that okay for me? Yes, because I utilize that service and I don't do anything else. I don't watch television. I watch Netflix.
So stick around for the next segment because you're going to get my rebuttal to this. I think I'm gonna leave Technology Bytes alone, but we are about to talk about this very, 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 very interesting debate.
Shit's about to get real. Stick around.
Timber. So it's time for a little bit of pop culture there, RJ.
Pop culture.
And I just want to start with a little moment of silence if I can.
We're going to have to do it. You know why? Egon, man. But not forgotten.
Not forgotten.
So let's just... For those who will always never cross streams.
Important safety tip.
We'll miss you, Harold Ramis. We will. You brought some of the greatest things
think
in
about
this
it.
world.
He's responsible for Animal House,
Caddyshack.
Ghostbusters,
Groundhog Day. Which is the reason that they won't ever make another Ghostbusters.
Which is the reason that's
Because
true.
Bill Murray and Harold Ramis hated each other after that movie.
Yeah, but he's. I mean,
But I mean, we'll
he was even involved with Bedazzled. Did you know that?
That's why we don't talk about it.
That cracked me up. But anyway, so but speaking of things that tug at the heartstrings of my hearts,
The cockles, if you will.
both of them.
Are you a little verklempt right now?
I am. There's a very legitimate rumor that Peter Capaldi might only be the Doctor for one fucking season.
That's all we're getting, and it's not just a rumor at this point.
I know it's been. I want to call it a rumor.
It's pretty much been everything but
know.
fully confirmed. With the same rumor, Stephen Moffat's leaving.
Yeah. And this is where I'm really torn, right? Because I'm torn between the fact that obviously I don't want Doctor Who to die and stop, and it won't. They're going to get a new
It's
head
too
writer.
big. They're lost.
But I'm torn between that and it not being Stephen behind the driver's seat.
Everybody felt the same way when Davies left.
I know, and you know what? I still kind of feel the same a little bit. 'Cause
I mean,
I
but
miss
no.
I miss Russell.
It's one of those things. I mean, I do miss Russell Davies. I do. I love him, but he had to go on and move and make better things. And Moffat has to go and he has to do Sherlock.
He does, and because really,
Which I'm not a fan of, by the way.
well, and if you are, you're a little butthurt because
So
he's only
butthurt.
doing one or the other
Every
which
3
means-
years.
Yeah, you're waiting a year
Every
and a half.
3 years for 6 episodes. Enjoy that.
Yeah. So I know it has to happen, but I'm torn.
So what else is there in pop culture we're talking
Well,
about this week? Speaking of television.
Speaking of television, so you mentioned this in a previous segment, the one we just had, in fact, and I would like to now talk about, well, aside of the Comcast Netflix deal that not everyone's considered. So
ahead.
first, let's talk about what you all have immediately thought about that. It's a net neutrality issue and blah, 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 and goddamn it, we're going to spend more money for shit and yada, yada. Well, okay, so yes, I agree it's a net neutrality problem, but not for the same reason that you do.
Okay.
There is something that a lot of people don't understand about the internet, and that is that Netflix and companies like them do pay other companies
Absolutely.
to provide content. It's the way it works. Now, these companies are typically companies like Cogent and Level 3 Communications.
Yep,
Granted,
or BBC.
You guys are like, who? These are companies that I deal with, by the way, on a daily basis as part of my job. I deal with level 3, for example, almost every single day. Because if you need to send a piece of data across an infrastructure router on the internet, you're probably talking to Cogent or you're probably talking to level 3. Now, here's what happens. When a content provider like Netflix wants to get information to you, the consumer, they have to cross a lot of bridges.
Yep.
Well, what they'll do is they'll distribute their CDN or their content delivery network into a lot of areas, and they'll put devices near or inside of level 3 or Cogent internet data centers and so on.
So you want to talk about Open Connect, I assume? Is that what you're...
Well, specifically what I want to get to is what this deal actually is for Comcast.
It's free money.
It's really not entirely that. So here's the deal, although it kind of is, and that's why I want to talk about it. So Comcast is very much both sides of the equation,
yes.
And that's why I have the problem with net neutrality. So when Netflix wants to send content to you, all they're doing, essentially, part of this deal, and that's also why immediately after Verizon said, yeah, we're probably going to do the same deal, because these deals are normal. They're actually normal deals.
This is just what happens.
The problem is Comcast... It isn't, by the way, it isn't the fact that Netflix is putting devices near Comcast routers. The problem isn't that they're giving Comcast money. And by the way, this will not make your Netflix rates rise by itself, because they would be paying this money to someone.
Yeah.
Just so you know. Now, if they have to do enough of it, it might make your rates rise a little bit over the next few years. That is possible, but it's actually not as likely as you might think. Here's my problem with it, and this is where I'm coming from a net neutrality standpoint. And this is really important when we talked about last week, or last episode, the whole Time Warner Comcast thing, which is probably going to happen. I still can't figure out how.
Time Warner Company users enjoy being Comcast users from now on.
So here's where it's a problem. Comcast is not just a delivery system. Comcast is also a content creator.
Yep.
That's the issue that I have with this particular deal.
Netflix is trying to become its own network.
So Netflix is its own network. They don't just, granted, they distribute media, but they also create their own media.
They have House of Cards. They have
Orange is the New Black. They got a few other
Hemlock
shows.
Grove, and now they're doing all the Marvel series.
Right, because that was a huge licensing deal. By the way, way to go, Netflix.
Yeah, seriously.
The problem is that's what they do. They deliver and create content licensed. Comcast does that, but they also serve your internet. They also create their own content. And if they buy Time Warner, that means, and here is where I have a problem.
They own like a bajillion channels.
I want to talk specifically about one of Netflix's biggest internet streaming competitors, and that is HBO Go.
Yeah.
Is HBO Go going to pay Comcast any extra fees to put devices in their routers?
Comcast will own them.
Exactly. And that, to me, is where the net neutrality issue actually occurs. It's specifically right there. It's not that Netflix is being, they're not being forced to pay Comcast any money. And we can debate whether or not Comcast was screwing you. And yeah, I still think they were. I
still think they're being hindered, yeah.
But that's not even the debate. The real problem is what is specifically going on in the fact that Comcast, as a content creator, content provider, and content delivery system, they are just getting too big.
Absolutely.
Just too big. And that's my biggest problem.
It's scary.
Absolutely. They're going to own 30% of the internet providers. They're going to own 23% of the fucking cable networks. Yeah.
It's going to be bad. And this is the same people who said that you'll never ever be able to have a subscription based on channels, and then literally 6 months later flip-flopped on the internet and was like, well, we could do that.
Yeah. And by the way, I don't think they really flip-flopped.
No.
I think it was the president realizing he shouldn't have said that out loud. And once he owns HBO, you can fucking forget that ever going subscription online only.
Which is funny because right now you can do it. You can do HBO Go online
in Norway.
Yeah, that's true.
You
got a way to call me out on that one.
It's being tested in one country.
Yeah. Which is, by the way, not doing so well because it's fucking Norway.
Yeah. Well, it's a good proof of concept, and I was hoping that would happen. But you look at Showtime On Demand, because they do content now. HBO On Demand. These are companies that.
Speaking of new content, though, with old content at the same time, Heroes coming back for miniseries.
Heroes is getting a reboot.
2015.
And I'm still a little bit torn. So
I'm completely unsure how to feel about
right,
this.
because it's not going to be the original cast, which I'm okay with, by the way.
But they have said that some of the old cast will pop
We'll have cameos and bits, which makes total sense. And, maybe it'll give me some closure for the show.
No, it won't. That was a piece of shit.
But maybe it won't. And I'm torn. There's a lot of stuff like that. The new movie Kate Winslet's got coming out, Divergent.
Divergent.
Which is basically Alpha's set 300 years in the future.
Alpha's 4400, whatever you want to
Right. And then there's a new show on ABC that I'm recording. It starts tomorrow, Resurrection.
Resurrection. I heard about this.
I kind of want to see that.
So with talking about TV, let's move it all the way to movies.
Yes.
TV becoming movies. You wanted to talk about the Veronica Mars Kickstarter.
Oh, sorry.
That's my birthday present to myself, by the way, is that I get to come here on Saturday and watch the movie.
So Veronica Mars, I'm a huge fan. Like, if you know me personally, we're both very huge Veronica Mars fans. I know it's kind of weird. Like, I'm the 36-year-old guy watching
I don't care.
Veronica Mars.
I love that show.
It was a great show. I mean, I'm a big Kristen Bell fan anyway. And so I backed. I did the Kickstarter backing.
As did I.
And I spent enough money that Kristen Bell follows me on Twitter. I mean, I
kind of a big
believed
deal.
in this movie a lot. Well, one of the very special things that I get, along with I get a shooting copy of the script, which is kind of awesome.
Is it signed?
I don't remember.
Okay.
But I do get a shooting version of the script. I got T-shirts and stuff.
I remember you got the T-shirts.
I get some stickers. There's still some stuff coming. I get the original 3 seasons on Blu-ray.
But what is the important thing that we get?
On the day, I get it digitally. So we're going to be downstairs in front of my 55-inch TV and my big-ass surround sound.
Just
with all
chilling on the comfy couch.
like a baller.
Seriously, the day
Watching
after my
Veronica
birthday,
Mars.
that's his birthday present to me, is that I get to come here and watch the movie that I've been waiting years
Because
for.
otherwise we'd have to drive to Atlanta. It's the closest.
Atlanta.
It's the
Thanks,
closest.
Regal, because apparently you hate money.
Yeah. Actually, I'm more pissed at Warner Brothers for that than I am Regal.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those things. So I'm going to move it back to TV for a second.
Yes.
I love the show Arrow. It's as close as we're going to get to a Batman live-action show, period. It just is. With that said, they're doing a Flash spinoff.
Yep.
And it feels to me, I saw just a little bit. They did the neck up shot of the costume, and it's perfect.
It really is. It's not cheesy, which I was kind of worried about.
The old movie was,
Right.
And then the TV show that they attempted at one point.
Which, for those time periods is fine. Like, I like to go back and watch those because they're funny. I didn't want this to be funny.
I didn't either. And the thing is, this kid who is playing him is the embodiment of like a Barry Allen, Wally West mix, and it's great. I love it. I agree. I hope they get a good witty writer on it because I need my witticisms. Savior of stuff.
Universe.
I know, but the Flash isn't really saving the universe. I mean, sometimes. I mean, if he's with JLA. So there's a new Matrix trilogy in the work as well. That's going to be coming apparently in 2017.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
I'm just happy they're making more than one Matrix movie.
I know we've had this.
There was only one.
We've had this conversation.
It's like Highlander. There can only be one. That's another thing that I've got going here. Big thing, and I'm going to end on this note unless you got anything else.
I think we're good.
Avengers Inside Look special is going to be happening on ABC March 18th. They're going to give us a first look at Ultron.
If you're not watching the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you're doing it wrong, by the way.
You absolutely are. And I've even started watching a little bit of it myself.
Great fucking show.
It's very good.
Ming-Na, I love Ming-Na, and I did not know she was that badass.
Now, I will say this for that special.
Agent
The
May.
Avengers. It's going to be an hour of Marvel patting themselves on the back. So you got two options. You can either watch it and get it right then, or you can wait until the next day and get the important stuff out of it, which is probably going to be all of about 30 seconds of the clip. Because they're talking about Avengers, they're talking about Captain America, they're talking about Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Make sure you can fast forward through
goddamn
that.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Little Karen.
Is this? I didn't know how this machine worked.
Are you not happy for that movie?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
That's from the trailer.
I know.
I'm so excited. It's a shut up and give me. I thought that Marvel was crazy when they went into the Guardians of the Galaxy thing. I was like, they're gonna pick this rando comic from the 70s that I used to dig out of 5-cent bins as a child and turn it into a movie. They nailed it.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
I thought they were crazy, but they absolutely nail it. So. Is that it for pop culture?
I think so. It's actually a lot. I know we kind of like just fucking throwing it at you like Batman trying to hit a button.
First try, nailed it. This is Game Changer. It's the only segment we have where we talk about video games and everything about video games and probably some more video games.
That's right.
What's really cool this week, though, is the first thing I'm going to start with. Xbox One is getting its very first big update March 11th.
It's called Titanfall. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, really, I was about to say.
Yeah.
Which is funny considering March 11th is the day that Titanfall drops.
Yep.
What it's going to include is it's going to include a whole bunch of updates to speed,
Yep.
the homepage, a lot of the way that game updates download,
Right.
your background downloading, and one of the hugest reasons that I want an Xbox One. You will be able to stream directly and live to Twitch TV. The cool thing here is they give you streaming options. You
Yep.
can stream just the game and the game audio.
Right.
The game, the game and your headset audio with
Or the
game
video
audio,
camera from your
or
Kinect.
the video camera of you and
Yeah.
your headset and the game,
Yep.
which is
Yep.
what we'll be doing soon. Because guess what? I'm gonna start a Twitch.tv channel.
Boom.
It's gonna happen. So with that said, let's move on to the next one. King Candy, which we have talked about a lot.
Yeah.
The company King, they do Candy Crush, they do a bunch of other games on Facebook, has finally and officially dropped their attempts to
They're not going to
trademark
try and,
the word candy in the U.S.
Because really, King, I mean,
It's gonna be.
but they're still trying to do it everywhere else.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
that's the thing. That's only in the U.S. because apparently everywhere else is just like whatever. Here's the really cool thing, and this I don't want to talk too much about Nintendo, but Nintendo is actually offering a free download code for either Pokemon X or Pokemon Y in the month of March only. Now that's to people who register via Club Nintendo with a 3DS, 3DS XL, or a 2DS.
Didn't you just buy a 3DS?
I did, but you have to have one of the 5 games for the platform. The 5 games that will be included in this are Mario Kart 7, Super Mario 3D Land, which I might be buying, Animal Crossing New Leaf, Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D, Lego City Undercover The Chase Begins, or Yoshi's New Island. Now, and Yoshi's New Island actually releases March 14th, my birthday. So if you guys want to hook it up and send a brother a free copy or something. But at the same time, this is a huge thing. As one of their biggest sellers for both the hardware and as a game, Pokemon X and Y being back got it was a total game changer and got everybody who is my age, and even people that are your age, back
Not me, but
into
some people
mobile
my age.
gaming, back into handheld gaming and everything. And I played it on a friend of mine's, and I really enjoyed it. And if I could get a free copy, here's what I'm thinking I'm going to do. I've not registered my 3DS XL yet. And if you haven't registered your console and one of those games, do it in the month of March, between March 1st and March 31st, or is it 30th? How many ever days March has in it? And you'll get a free copy of X or Y, your choice. Okay, so it is 31. All right, I thought so. I just wasn't positive on that one. So for me, that says that Nintendo's trusting in that has ultimate judgment right there. That man just gave me the look of death. So for me, for them to give
How
away
many
one
days
of
are in
their
February?
28 this year. For March or for March, for Nintendo to give away one of their biggest games
Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah.
that just came out last October,
Yeah.
that's huge. 6 months away from that, and people are still snapping it up like crazy. And you can get a free game. Buy yourself one of those games if you're planning to. Free
See,
game.
I think it's because they're going under and they just want to try to get reinvested.
They got-
like, hey, get this free game. They don't make you buy an Xbox.
They don't
make you
call
buy
it
a device.
Nintendo money for
I know.
nothing.
I'm just teasing.
But the biggest thing that I want to talk about, and we're going to lead up to an unboxing when I do it, March 11th is when Xbox One will be releasing the fully confirmed Titanfall bundle. Now,
Dun,
it
dun,
will not be
dun.
coming with a physical copy of the CD or physical copy of the disc. It's
You know,
a download copy.
Do you know what my only problem with this is?
What?
I only actually have one problem. So let's talk about the things I like. The first thing I like is the very simple fact that you paid the same price for the Xbox no matter what, and you get a $65 game for free.
Absolutely, yeah.
So here's my.
Not only that, it's their biggest release
It
this
is,
year.
yeah. And it's actually got me thinking about buying an Xbox. Like I always said, when I got to that point, and this might be that point for
Yep.
me, possibly. Here's my complaint. I like limited edition Xboxes.
They're not skinning it.
I have the Gears of War 3 Xbox 360 downstairs. Love that thing. I love, the controllers, the skinning on. It's not a skinned Xbox. I want a Titanfall skinned Xbox.
Now, the rumor was going around a couple weeks ago that there was going to be a Titanfall skinned
I know.
Xbox, which was going to be white, gray, and orange based
all
on the
let down.
colors.
I was all let
And I
down.
would have definitely, that would have been a
would've told you
selling
about
point.
that.
However, I like the matte black box.
No, I like the matte
I
black
do.
box, but you know what? You remember when the Star Wars
I do.
skinned
I
R2D2
understand the
Xbox
R2D2.
came out?
I don't like those. Personally, I just want my Xbox to look like an Xbox, and I can put the sticker skins on it if I want to. The clean stuff.
I want it.
And by the way, you can actually make your own clean design stickers.
I know, but
I just want everything to be easy. So this copy will this actually
And
bundle
I don't
will
mind
be.
a download copy. And that's fine.
That's
I
what
don't
I'm
give a
saying.
shit. I bought
It is-
several games that way.
It is $499. It's got it comes with a digital copy of the game and a free month of Xbox Live. I forgot to mention that, and that's right there. A free month of Xbox Live is $14.99.
Yeah.
That's
And if you
don't
already
buy
have
it in bulk.
Xbox Live, you just redeem the code and it tax a month to the end of your current one.
Exactly.
So
it will come with the controller, the system, the HDMI cable,
Right.
the headset, and like I said, a digital copy of Titanfall, which is huge.
Oh no, it's
and that's why
that's
it's
what I'm saying.
broken me down.
It's just $70 game you're getting for free.
I have to buy this.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what's going to
So
happen.
that'll be on a new unboxing.
And that will
show.
be our first official unboxing, most likely, and that's going to be my birthday present to myself.
I like it.
For before we end Game Changer, and literally before we end the show,
Yeah, because we're actually going to end on Game Changer this week. We're not going to end on fuck a bunch of that.
I wanted to talk to you guys about somebody who was brought to my attention. He's a musical artist. I don't really know if I would call him BitChips or Nerdcore. He is some version of that. You guys might know who he is. He plays a lot of conventions. He makes some really good music. It's Professor Shy Guy, and I want to say his website is professorshyguy.com, but he just literally dropped yesterday, a new album called Rhythm and Bloops.
Rhythm and Bloops. I see what you did there.
And I love it because what it is pretty much pick any 90s R&B song that you fell in love with.
Well, he did a lot of collaboration, too.
Absolutely.
So,
If you know pretty much anybody in the nerdcore or internet music making industry, chances are they're on this album.
one of my favorite internet musicians is Ali Spagnolia, by the way.
And she does this.
Love
She
her.
features
She does
in
the Power
Do What
Hour.
You Want.
And if you don't know what the Power Hour is,
it's awesome.
You need to go. Yeah, seriously. Go get the Power
Go
Hour.
look it up. Google it right now.
Yep.
But Rhythm and Bloops, an example of songs that are on it is No Diggity. We got Regulate.
Yep.
We've got Never Gonna Get It. You've got Poison. That was a bad interpretation, but it doesn't matter.
His is
That's
better,
Belle Biv
by the
DeVoe, and he is amazing. From an audio standpoint, I don't normally listen to bit chips.
Yeah.
If you don't know what bit chips or bit tunes is, it's 8 to 16 bit or any old school.
Yeah. You take like
sound.
Atari and Nintendo sounds and you make music with
You make
them.
music with them. Now, he does that as a backlay for the tracks for all these, and it sounds awesome, actually.
Yeah, no, and I was so it's and I wanted to talk about that for just a second. So it's not entirely my style of music either, but from someone who's done audio, sound engineering, and mixing of my own I was a techno guy back in the day. It's actually pretty good. The quality's the quality is definitely up there, both of the recording quality and the mixing. Like it's impressive.
It's fantastic. Now another thing that I want to talk about is, he does. They are featuring a friend of mine's band, which is Heyday Revival.
Yeah.
They are featured on the Never Gonna Get It song, which is awesome in my opinion. That is a favorite song of mine from back in the '90s.
Well, In Vogue for you.
Yeah, In Vogue, man, and. The song has 12 tracks on it.
That was pre-3 En Vogue. That was when there were still 4 of them.
It is on sale now. See here. I don't know if it's in his store.
Can you get that
or
on
if
iTunes?
I don't
probably?
know. That's what I'm trying to find out at the moment. I know that you could be able to
Rated
find it.
Heart.
Let me go here. Music. I believe it is on iTunes. Let me pull it up real quick.
There you go.
Now it's professorshyguy.com. They also have. I want to say it's Bandcamp. Let me check that one out. I want to say it's professorshyguy.bandcamp.com is also where some music's at. It does not look like the brand new one's on iTunes, so
It'll probably be there in a day or two.
maybe it releases on Monday, and I'm just talking out of my ass.
Well, Tuesday's usually New Music Day, typically.
And that could be the situation.
Yeah.
But
So-
I've listened to the album probably 3 times now. It's actually going on my phone for the gym mix because I'm that much in love with it. You guys should at least go check this guy out. He's fantastic. ProfessorShyGuy.com. We've also got, I'm sorry, I already forgot the other one, which I think is ProfessorShyGuy.bandcamp.com. Check it out. If you like video games, if you like R&B, if you like bit chips, if you like anything nerdy, period, you will probably love this. And it is a great CD to have for your gym track because you know I'm always working out. You know I'm in the gym. I am fitness nerd guy. So make sure to check it out. And I don't have anything else for
Game Changer.
Game Changer. I have nothing else. I mean,
Well, then I guess
that's the end of the show.
that's it. We do have a lot of stuff. We have a lot of stuff coming up though. So
we have a lot of stuff
stick
coming up.
around.
We are going to go ahead and apologize to you right now that we're probably not going to be back much in the month of March. We're going to try and shoot some short
March is
stuff for you.
exploding. We're going to do as much as we can. But March is
Quarter
blowing
one
up.
is nuts for both of us in our real lives, so we do have to have jobs and go out there and do this
I'm
stuff.
not even going to be in the state for part of it.
Exactly. So there are some things that you should look forward to coming up. I may be doing some interview with Professor Shy Guy to bring you guys more information on
I'm
that.
going to interview a local comedian pretty soon on one of our upcoming podcasts. That's going to be going down. We have a pods funding campaign coming up, so just wanted to mention that really quickly before we end the show. We're looking for some monies, man.
We need your dollar bills, y'all.
We want to get a new camera. We're shooting on a great DSLR right now.
Well, we want a real camera that we can take out with us and we can go to events with.
So when we go to Dragon Con later this year, we can have some guy holding the camera with interview mics.
And we're going to have a mic.
Yeah,
and everything. It's going to be cool.
So look for that. You'll see the link for that right about here. That launches on Monday, but this show won't be out till Wednesday. So it'll be live by the time you see this episode.
Make sure to go like us on Facebook. What is the actual link? Do you know?
So go to facebook.com/thatstupidpodcast, or just go to thatstupidpodcast.com and click the like button.
There it is. Other than that, I don't have anything else for him this week. You got anything else for
No,
him?
I'm good, man.
All right. Well, if that's not it, we'll possibly see you in some segments otherwise this month. We'll be back at the end of March. Stick around for it.
Boom.
Yeah, but this week's going to be kind of quick, so we're just going to put it in and then boom. Oh, wait. Was I talking about my sex life? Or doesn't matter.
That's actually, it reminds me. I like to keep my hot tubs like I like to keep my women.
How's that?
So hot, I can only stay in for 3 seconds.
Ooh, ba-bow.